Hey everybody, in this video I will show you how to play Do You Like Me by Fugazi off the Red Medicine record. The song is in standard tuning, and please take a quick second to like and subscribe and check out my website scottobryanguitar.com. I have the tab for this song as well as hundreds of other punk, rock, and grunge songs up there, and here we go. All right, so for this song, Fugazi has two guitar players, Ian and Guy, and they're both kind of playing similar things, but they're different throughout the song. So I'm going to show you their different parts, and then I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of how to do some of them together so that it kind of sounds like the whole. So the song starts off with that kind of discordant like intro, and for that I'm going to use my Rat Pro Code distortion pedal. It gives it kind of that like muffled kind of sound that they have. Now I'm going to try to approximate it with one guitar. There's probably actually like two or three instruments on this, and not all of them are guitars, so I'm going to try and approximate that sound with one guitar. So it might not sound exactly like it, but it can kind of give you a little bit of the gist of what's happening there, and if you want to like try and cover the song, you could kind of approximate it. So the intro starts off something like this. And that may not be the exact length of the intro, but that's kind of what it goes through. So we're going to start with these power chords, these two-note power chords. The first one is index finger rooted at the first fret of the low E and ring finger at the third fret of the A. And so we're going to play that chord, and then we're going to slide up to the second fret root. So that's basically the start. And I know it doesn't sound exactly like what's on the record. What's on the record is a little bit more muffled. It might even be like a bass. So it's... And then we're going to just do a lot of noise, harmonics. So I like to slide up to around the 15th fret, and you can kind of listen to the rhythm on the record. It's not straight, like, it's kind of... And you're going to have some of those notes of the higher strings that are more individualized, so... And so that's it just for that part. And then it kind of goes to a second part. And for the second part, there's going to be like a little bit more distinction on the notes. So it goes. And then we're going to do this pattern. So again, this is to approximate like multiple instruments on one guitar. So we're going to do this power chord. And so we're going to start with our index finger rooted at the 8th fret of the low E and ring finger at the 10th fret of the A. And we're going to play that pattern moving up to the 10th fret root. So just like that. And then we're going to kind of play some harmonics in between where we move down. Like that. And then we're going to move down to a power chord rooted at the 6th fret. So... And to kind of mimic all of those, that second part with all the harmonics and the weird noises, I'm in between the chord changes, I'm going to try and fit in like some harmonics. So it's going to be like... And so you're going to kind of want to try to like kind of fit in those harmonics while also maintaining that rhythm of those chords. So then we come to the intro, and which consists of kind of a main riff. And Guy is going to be playing more like ringing chords, whereas Ian's going to be playing a little bit more power chords. And so it's going to start off like this. So that's what Guy's going to play. So we're going to just play this bar chord, this B. So index finger bridged across the 7th fret. And then we're going to put our ring finger on the 9th fret of the A and pinky on the 9th fret of the D, and then middle finger at the 8th fret of the G. So, and it's that kind of rhythm. And we're going to play mostly the lower notes. They're the lower strings. You may occasionally hit the higher strings because it's pretty loose. And then we're going to go to this second chord. which is kind of this weird discordant sounding chord. And so there's not a lot of finger movement to change the chords. So basically you're going to go from that major bar chord, and then you're going to kind of slide down 1 fret. We're going to keep our ring finger kind of in the same position, except now it's going to be in the 8th fret of the A instead of the 9th fret of the A. And our middle finger is now going to be on the 7th fret of the G string. So it was on the 8th fret of the G string. So both of those fingers slide down. And then our bridge finger, instead of bridging now, we're just going to move it to the 6th fret of the B string. Sometimes it's a little tricky. We're going to leave this D string open. So you're going to kind of have to bridge your fingers around it and not touch it, otherwise you'll mute it. But occasional muting's probably fine. It's kind of like, post-punk punk. It's a little loose to begin with. And you might hit that low E string occasionally. I like to mute it with my thumb so that it doesn't ring out. So we're basically trying to play the middle 4 strings. But if we hit other strings, again, it's like punk rock, so it doesn't really matter that much. And so for Guy's guitar, I'm using a Ibanez Tube Screamer pedal straight into my Fender Twin Reverb amp because it's it's a little bit of crunchy tone and it's real bright, but it's not like super distorted. And then so for Ian's part, I'm going to switch to my Boss DS1 distortion pedal. His is a little thicker distortion, but it actually starts off a little crunchy and gets thicker as the song goes on. So Ian's gonna be playing this. So it's a similar type of style, it's just a little different. So we're going to play like a 2-note power chord with our index finger rooted at the 7th fret of the E and ring finger at the 9th fret of the A. And then we're going to do these accents. And he does it pretty quickly with alternate strumming. And then we're going to slide up to a 2-note power chord rooted at the 13th fret of the low E. So... And so these two parts kind of complement each other, and they're very similar. And so then when we get to the verse, Guy is going to be playing pretty much the same chords, just a little different rhythm. So he's going to go. So it's the same 2 chords, just a little like shorter rhythm. And Ian's going to actually kind of switch it up a little bit. So he's going to play like this. So we're basically just playing a 3-note power chord, index finger rooted at the 7th fret of the low E and ring finger bridged across the 9th fret. We're going to kind of let it hang, and he kind of does this like bend kind of slide thing, so like... And then we're going to go to another power chord, index finger 8th fret of the A, ring finger bridged across the 10th fret of the D and G. So... And then at the end of that verse, there's kind of like a little mini kind of bridge where it just kind of hangs on that second chord. So Ian's playing that. So then after it goes through that mini bridge, we're going to go back through that kind of intro long part. Then we're going to go into the verse again, and the verse is the same, so it's kind of the shorter. And Ian's going to be doing his part, And then it kind of goes into this other like kind of second part, maybe a pre-chorus or second part of the verse. And Guy continues playing what he's playing, and Ian plays this. So it's just like a single note riff. You're going 2nd fret of the A, and then 1st fret low E to open on the low E. And it repeats a few times, so. And then it kind of goes into like this pause part, and Guy plays like kind of the main riff with Ian accenting it. So the main riff goes like this. So we're going to start off with an A power chord. So it's a 3-note power chord open on the A string, 2nd fret of the D and G with your index. I like to play with my index and middle. Some people like to play it with their middle and ring. Depending on the application, I'll play it either way. So, and then we're going to move up to a B, so index finger at the 2nd fret of the A string and ring finger bridge across the 4th fret of the D and G. And then we're also going to do kind of open on the middle, on these 3 strings, the A, D, and G string, in between chords. So slowly it starts. And then over the top, Ian is going to be playing this kind of accent. It's just basically like a 3-note slide, and he's going to be playing it on the D, G, and B strings, and it just kind of goes. So if we're playing the whole riff through with the accent, you could kind of play it like this. And I think the last time through, there's not an accent, it just kind of rides it, but that's kind of the gist if you want to play it with one guitar. So then we go back into that main long riff. And it just kind of, the song goes through that same cycle again. So verse, pre-chorus, and then chorus. And then we're going to come to this like bridge octave part, and it goes like this. And I think both guitars are playing the same thing or something very similar, but we're going to play this octave part, and we're going to start index finger rooted on the 14th fret of the low E. We're going to play our ring finger at the 16th fret of the D string, and we're only going to play those 2 notes, and how we're going to do that is we're going to mute that A string with the pad of our index finger. So basically what we have is 2 of the exact same notes an octave apart, and it really kind of like cuts through. It's really bright and has a very distinct sound, and especially when you have 2 guitars doing it at the same time. So, and then we're just going to do like alternate strumming. And then you'll kind of hear it on the record a few measures in. We're going to kind of do this like almost descending kind of octave sounding thing, and we're going to take our ring finger off the 16th fret. We're still going to be muting that A string, and we're going to put our middle finger on the 15th fret of the D string, and so it's going to kind of have this weird like tone shifting shape. So it goes. And then we're going to continue the ascent on the pattern. So then we're going to go up to 16th fret, and then up to 17th fret, holding that same shape. So. And so it repeats that several times, and then Guy is going to play this kind of notey lead over the top of it that goes like this. And so it's a repeating pattern, and we're going to start in the 9th position, so index finger on the 9th fret. Then we're going to use our ring finger to play at the 11th fret. So 9th fret of the D string with your index finger, and then ring finger at the 11th fret. But we're not going to hold it and let them both ring through. We're going to kind of pull off. So we're going to go back and forth. Then we're going to kind of come back down. And then we're going to kind of repeat that. So. And that's the whole pattern. It just kind of repeats after that. So. And then the last time through, we're going to do a bend. And then go back to that 9th fret. And then we're going to kind of hold that bend as we come out of the bridge. And so we're going to come out of that bridge into the verse, and it's going to be the same verse we've played before. It's a little extended, I believe, and then Ian's going to do this part. And then after I think the fourth time, it might be the fifth time, you'll have to listen to the record to know exactly. He does this kind of extended pattern, so he goes. And then it goes into the end where it's just holding that B chord. So the end of the song, Ian's part's going to be. So that's going to be that 3-note B power chord, index finger rooted at the 7th fret, ring finger bridged across the 9th fret. And then Guy's going to be playing the same thing as he's playing before in the verse. And then at the very end, he's just going to be probably playing that B major. So that's it for this one. I hope you liked the video. If you appreciate this content, like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified when I post new videos just like this one. And check out my website, scottobryanguitar.com. I have the tab for this song as well as hundreds of other punk, rock, and grunge songs up there. And I will see you guys next time.